So before we start this video, I want to point out that I've never sat down to write a script for a video, like, ever. So I just want to let everybody know that if this video isn't, like, amazing or, like other YouTubers that make bonus videos like this all the time, I do apologize. This will be the first time I've ever done this, so please be a little open-minded. I'm trying my best. I hope I get everything right, and if I don't, you can sue me. Alright, on to the video. Hey everybody, this is the Gaming Dragon, and welcome back to Psychonauts 2, where we are here with the last bonus video of the series. Oh boy, it's a doozy. So, this bonus video, we're going to be talking about stuff that we didn't get a chance to talk about in the rest of the series. But we're also going to be talking about stuff that really wasn't in the game at all. Like, stuff that was cut and all sorts of other things like that. But I also want to have some, like, theories about where Psychonauts might be heading next. Or just intentions that were, well, intended for the game in general. So, I hope you'll all stick around for the very end when we talk about that. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, first and foremost, there are a couple of things that I missed that I probably should have added to one of my previous bonus videos, but forgot. Like this conversation right here with the receptionist.
I hope my family didn't cause too much trouble.
You're lucky my family never comes to visit me. Ever.
No one from my family's been back here, have they?
No one except that cute little dancing boy. You got any moves like that one?
No. Well, guess you're glad that everything's back to normal.
What, did someone fix the coffee machine?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. I meant the Maligula stuff.
Yeah, whatever. Wake me up when there's coffee.
Hey, did you hear Truman is awake?
No, why would anyone tell me? I'm just the receptionist. I'm only the first line of defense and a hub of information, supposedly.
Hey, so ever see anyone famous come through here?
Just you, kid.
Me? I'm famous?
Yeah. Aren't you that kid the security cameras caught crawling through the air ducts in his underwear?
Oh, jeez. Have you ever heard of the Lady Lucktopus Casino?
Oh my god, I knew they'd come to collect someday, but I never thought they'd send a child.
I'm not here to collect anything.
Just a warning then. Okay. Alright. You tell Gooch I'm gonna make this right, okay? Real soon.
Hi, any messages for me?
What?
Just kidding.
Huh. Guess you have to be psychic to get that one.
Rasputin also has something interesting to say about the plaque featuring Ford Cruller.
Ford Cruller. I'm not sure if you messed up my family, or if you saved it. I mean, I might not even exist if you hadn't done what you did. Maybe I'll figure it out later, when I'm not 10.
On a more important note, colors. Lev ball colors, to be more precise. There are 7 in total that you can use in the combination of the pins that you can get from the automatic, but also the classic orange that Rasputin has to start out with. But of course, again, the pins. You can use the pins to turn your Lev ball into a multitude of different colors. I did show off some of them, but I didn't show off all of them. So that's what I'm gonna do here and now. Starting off with the first one that you see at the beginning of the game, orange.
Yep. Ho! Ho!
Using the pins, you can get blue. red,
Yep. Oh.
and green. But here's the kicker. You can actually mix these pins together to get a multitude of different colors. And by a multitude, I mean 4. So by mixing the blue and green pins, you get turquoise. By mixing the blue and red pins, you get magenta. Somehow, by mixing the green and red pins, you get yellow.
Yep.
And of course, by combining all 3 pins together, you get the beautiful white. Now, the levitation ball isn't the only thing about Rasputin that you can change. Once you have gotten all the collectibles from the scavenger hunt, you can use the restroom to change Rasputin's outfit. I've already done this at the beginning of these bonus videos to go back to the tried and true as we know it. But you can change Rasputin's outfit a little more. Of course, you can stick with the classic outfit that Sasha gave Raz.
I think I look best in that outfit Sasha gave me.
The business suit as well from Lobato's mind, which you can finally fulfill the duty of that one Psychonaut that told you to get a suit.
You know, everybody looks good in a suit.
Where did I put that stapler?
And if you want to be mean, you can make Raz wear his circus underpants. Why you would do this? I have no idea. But I mean, if you really want to, the option is there.
My circus skivvies may be a little tattered, but they really are comfortable.
Today's the day.
But because the option is there, that also means that if you're really feeling mean,
Why didn't the Tsar help Maligula in her time of need? No one knows, but historians agree it is Tsar Theodore's biggest failure.
you can create the most embarrassing scene that Raz will have to live with for the rest of his life forever. I am so sorry I had to do this to you, Rasputin, just
That
for
is some
content.
messed up junk.
Oh dear sweet content. So before we get too deep into this video, there is one thing I want to bring up. And I really hope I don't get into trouble with Double Fine for this, because the video is unlisted and it is titled Special Trailer for the Psycho Backers, which is for the backers for the Psychonauts 2 campaign. The Psychonauts 2 game campaign stuff. You know what I'm talking about. So there is an unlisted video, as I already said, that was for the backers for Psychonauts 2, as I had already said. And because the video is unlisted, that means if you have the link, you can watch it. Well, I just so happen to have the link to the video, and I highly recommend that you do watch it. And the reason why is because it's a bit of an in-between from Psychonauts 1 to Psychonauts 2. And it is a video of Ford Cruller slightly being insane and slightly being himself. And it's really interesting. Not very many people have watched this video, so I highly recommend that you do. It came out like 5 months ago, so it's not a new video by far, by any means. But I think it's a really interesting video, and I highly recommend that you watch it. Link for this video will be in the description below. Now, all of that stuff is fairly obvious. All the kind of stuff that you expect to find in the game. Now, this other stuff I want to talk about is in the game. It's just a lot less obvious that you can find it. First and foremost, in Cruller's correspondence. You may remember seeing the stamps that were on the letters that were of the different and various Psychonauts that are from the game. Well, you can't really see all of them, and you might be able to see all of them if you're really keen-eyed and you really search for them, but I don't know if everyone has that kind of diligence. So, the work has been done for you. Here are all the stamps that you can find in the game. And please, Double Fine, I'm begging you, make these things real. I will buy these if you make these stamps actual stamps. I will legitimately buy these. Now on to the spooky, scary Tomb of the Sarcophagus. Mwah, So, what I want to talk about here is something that actually I didn't know about until I looked this up. Well, I mean, I didn't know about most of this until I looked it up, but that's neither here nor there. I looked at this, and I originally thought that the, teeth, sort of, that chase you through the graveyard was a comb. And apparently I'm not the only person who thought this. But believe it or not, if you actually look in the files, you can see that it's not a comb, it's a music box. Which, honestly, I think that just makes it all the more cooler to realize that the teeth of a music box are chasing you through the graveyard. And all the little graves are like the little pins that make the music on a music box. Oh my god, it's so much cooler now that I know that. also in Ford's mind is at the very end of the giant pit that Raz falls into. Down at the bottom is a grave that says Maligula. You don't actually get to see what the full grave looks like, but through the power and magic of, you know, looking through all of the stuff that's in this game that you can't really see that well because it's all blocked by cutscenes, you can actually see that this is what Maligula's grave actually looks like. It makes it a lot creepier knowing what it actually looks like than just falling into a grave that I originally thought just said Maligula. Stepping away from Ford's mind and turning our attention to the Aquato family luggage. Yeah, no, just the luggage. But not just the luggage in general. Now, what I actually want to turn our attention to is the travel stickers that are on said luggage. Now, a lot of them are the same, and by a lot, I mean most of them. But out of the ones that are different, there is one in particular that I would like to draw your attention to. And that is this one particular sticker that you can find that reads Lungfishopolis. Yeah, they made a reference to Lungfishopolis. And as a travel sticker? Question. When did the Aquatos go to Lungfishopolis? And also, how did they go to Lungfishopolis? As far as I'm aware, Rasputin is the only one that can actually go there. So, how do they have a travel sticker for it? The questions never cease. Something else you may not have noticed that is, you know, in the game, are the color of the figments. And I'm actually really mad at myself for not knowing that each mine you go into here in Psychonauts 2 has their own palette for the color of the figments. And it's such a cool thing, but like, I never noticed that. And I feel so bad for not, because it's super cool when you look at all of these different colors and variations of colors, and it's so amazing how many colors are here and how they all bleed and blend into one another and how they match the mine that they're in. I'm so upset that I hadn't noticed. Anyways, here's a list of all the different figments, or I guess figment colors, that you can see in Psychonauts 2. And of course, the Psyking Sensorium has some of the brightest colors, while Ford's Follicles has some of the more natural toned colors. Well, Ford's Follicles and Compton's Cook-Off. Now, this is less of a, well, less obvious thing than it more is kind of like a little hidden detail, or even possibly an Easter egg that no one has ever really found. And if they have, they've never really talked about it. And that is a note that's inside of Cassie's house. If I can actually find it in-game, you'll be seeing footage of me looking at it right now, and if not, well, you'll be seeing a picture of the texture of the note that is supposedly in Cassie's house. It has a very hilarious note written on it that's to the player, technically. And it says, "Super unimportant text, do not stop to read this under any circumstances. That would be a complete waste of time. Every moment you spend reading this, you could just be playing the game. I would highly recommend it. Go ahead and just be on your..." That's it. It ends with just be on your. Why? I have no idea. But I get the feeling it's supposed to say, go ahead and just be on your way. But it doesn't say that. Well, that was fun. Now we come to the good stuff. Stuff that isn't in the game. Starting with the beginning of the game itself. So apparently there was supposed to be a different beginning, in which apparently Lobato was supposed to have a birthday party thrown for him? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why Sasha thought that was a good idea, but apparently that was originally going to be the opening. The only real thing I can find that shows that this was the case was a birthday cake that was supposed to be for Lobato, but oddly enough, instead of saying Happy Birthday Lobato, it instead says Happy Birthday Nick? Yeah. It's for Nick John Smith, not for Lobato. For whatever reason, that's the case. I'm not sure why, but I mean, yeah, it's in there. So I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a placeholder, but if we can go back to the figments for just a second, apparently there's a figment that's literally just titled Bad Figment. And I don't just mean its title in the file is Bad Figment, I mean it's literally a picture of a black box that has the words Bad Figment written on it. Why? I'm not sure. Again, I'm pretty sure this is a placeholder, but I mean, the possibility that there were supposed to be bad figments is an idea that I'm really intrigued by. Also somewhere in the files, apparently there's some sort of thing in there that's labeled as an event and is audio, and it says Rickroll. Cue it! Hey, so I was editing this, and I just kind of realized, like, how much this song that I'm not playing the full version of because I would get copyright struck if I played the whole song for, just the fact that, like, just listening to it, like, the lyrics for it, it kind of really does sum up, like, like how Raz is in this relationship. He really isn't gonna give her up or let her down, or turn around and desert her. It's actually way more fitting than I ever would have imagined. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that Rickroll was never intended to be a Rickroll, and maybe it was intended for another purpose. I don't know. Now I'm all curious. Now, this isn't cut content per se, but it's interesting nonetheless, and that's this cute little map. Apparently, the entire map for the quarry, the questionable area, and the Psychonauts HQ, well, not in the Psychonauts HQ, but you know, the map itself in general was supposed to be completely different. Just look at this cute little map. You can see that there's Cassie's home up there, a giant redwood tree, and some sort of abandoned camp and old base that was supposed to be there at one point. Otto had a secret hangar and a lab right near a geyser, and you could even see the coach's mech, which, you know, kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see that. Wish we could have. You could see where the mother lobe was supposed to be like a giant sphere, and there are a bunch of goats. Can't miss out the goats. Just in general, this little map is infinitely cool. And I kind of wish we got to have this old map. And it's totally not because I want to see Coach Oleander's BattleBot mech. Absolutely has nothing to do with that, but it might have something to do a little bit with it. Also, abandoned camp. Can't forget the abandoned camp. Now let's talk about some cut game mechanics, because believe it or not, there are actually a few. First and foremost, raw psychic energy. Do you remember this from Psychonauts 1? The weird little orange balls of psychic energy that Raz had to store up to use Psyblast? Well, guess what? They used to be in the game! Yeah, we almost had to deal with that sad mechanic from the first game in the second one. Because they are here! Or at least, they used to be. As far as I can find, there are only 2 images that showcase these little energy spheres as their little, kind of adorable exclamation marks. But yeah, that's about it. Also, there's one of these pictures shows Raz in like a testing area, probably a place where the game devs tested out some mechanics. It's still cool nonetheless, and I think an older version of what may have been telekinesis, which, not gonna lie, the fact that it looks like a crane almost is kinda dope. Another really cool mechanic that I really wish was still in the game is Super Sneeze Powder. Do you remember this stuff from the first game? I remember this stuff from the first game. I talked about it all the time during this Let's Play of Psychonauts 2. Because I just thought that Super Sneeze Powder was a pretty hilarious but also kind of cool idea, where you create a powder that's so strong that you literally just sneeze your brains out. Well, apparently it was also going to be a game mechanic, where Raz would actually open up a bottle of Super Sneeze Powder and sneeze his brains out into what apparently is like a little brain ball that he could actually ride around in with his brain. Man, that sounds like a fun mechanic. Oh, I can't even begin to imagine what you could have been able to do with this. Get into smaller places, maybe even be able to ride across the water, like, what could you have done with this? I wish I could have known. It would have been awesome. And one of the more interesting things about this is that the ball that Raz's brain would have rode around in is actually in the game. Like, legitimately, you can go see it right now. It's in Otto's lab on his little wall of gadgets. Like, the fact that they decided to leave it in there just shows that they knew that this was going to be a fun idea, but they just didn't have a lot of ways to implement it, I suppose. Really sad, and I really wish it would have stuck around. But I mean, you win some and you lose some, I guess. Now, the brain ball was going to be a gadget, along with the thought tuner and the camera. But believe it or not, there was actually another gadget that honestly isn't a gadget, but it still kind of would have been cool if it was in the game. And that's a fishing rod. A fishing rod. Why? Why a fishing? Why were we supposed to go fishing? Why are we supposed to go fishing? What would be the purpose of fishing? I have no idea. There's no information that would lead to why you would go fishing. I can only assume that, like, maybe there would be, like, some sort of side quest where someone would ask Raz and be like, hey, can you go catch this fish? I don't know. I can kind of see why they would take it out, because, I mean, like, why would Raz need to go fishing? At all? Whatsoever? I guess there would be an opportunity for, like, the fish to, like, have a Psy challenge marker, or a Psy card, or something else. Maybe one of the scavenger hunt items would be collected via only fishing. It's still just kind of weird. The fishing rod? Really? I guess it's also supposed to be like a reference back to the first game where, what was his name? Elton was talking to fish and Raz asked him if he was psychic fishing. I guess that would be a callback to that. And it would give Rasputin more lines to be like, I remember when Elton would talk to fish or something like that. I mean, that in itself would be really nice, just to hear Raz make references back to the first game again. Some more references back to the first game, but I mean, that would probably be the fishing rod's only purpose, would be to talk about the first game. Like, I don't see any other reason why you would need it. It just seems like it's weird. I still kind of wish it was in the game, though, because I think the idea of Raz getting to say more unique things by catching some fish, and also, you could probably catch some weird-ass fish in Psychonauts. I can't even begin to imagine. How much you want to bet they would have made a reference to, like, the three-eyed fish? Like, the multiple-eyed fish that, like, the Simpsons did? That thing? What if they made a reference to that? That would be funny. I'd want fishing in the game just for that. Just for that reference alone. But another interesting gadget that would have been at Raz's disposal was something known as bottled emotions. Now, I'm not entirely sure what bottled emotions would have been able to do precisely. I'm not sure if they were a gadget that Raz would use to attack, or if they could be used for other purposes. But there is an animation with a very, very sad, very, very sad design for Raz. Just a very sad model of Raz throwing the bottled emotions. But the thing is, if you actually look in the files, you can see that love is under bottles. Okay. I have something I want to say about that, and it kind of draws back to a conversation that Raz has with his father. Because during the conversations that you can have with Augustus, Rasputin, of course, he thanks his dad for helping him out back at summer camp, and that's when Augustus brings up Rasputin's relationship with Lily, and Raz is obviously kind of panicked about it. And so, I don't know, I think that might have been like a cue for like, that would have had something to do with bottled emotions, because the fact that love is under that, I don't know, it just opens up so many possibilities of what could actually be going on. Because we already know that Raz is just kind of on the fence about the whole relationship with Lily. Not on the fence, that's not the word I mean. I guess kind of on the fence. He's mostly unsure, of course. And of course Augustus just telling Raz, saying, like, just tell her how you feel. It's pretty clear that Raz has some feelings for Lily, and he's just not sure how to say them, I guess. And the fact that this is the only thing for bottled emotions that's actually in the files, the fact that it says love underneath it, I really am interested about what dialogue would have come with that. What kind of secrets could we have gotten from having bottled emotions that are represented by love? And more particularly, what would it look like? That's what I want to know. Like, would it be like a grenade, where Raz would throw a grenade and you just see a big old puff of pink and it would just be a heart that puffs out of it or something? Like, what would it look like? I gotta know. I want to know what that would look like. Or, you know, it could also be like the broken heart. Like a broken heart. Like, instead of being, you know, all romantic and stuff, it could be like, kind of, like a dark lavender or a dark violet, and it would have like a heart in it that would just kind of crack. Or something like that. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. But yeah, bottled emotions, that's a thing. So before we move on to the next thing, I want to point out something else about bottled emotions. This is going to come into play with something else I'm going to be talking about in just a little bit, but it does appear that even though there isn't anything else that indicates that there's other bottles of emotions aside from love, There does appear to be some instances that may seem to indicate that other bottled emotions were already not programmed, but were in the files, or going to be in the files at one point. And that's with some dialogue that we're going to get into in a little bit. It's not going to be the next thing we talk about, but it's going to be coming up. And it indicates the idea that there would have been bottled emotions for sadness and also anger. So I wanted to bring that up, so you had that to chew on as well, just to keep that in mind. I completely forgot about this, and I didn't originally talk about it because, again, I forgot about it. So bottled emotions had also anger and possibly sadness as well. It's like from the movie Inside Out, except Psychonauts edition. Who would have thunk it? Now, the time has come to talk about the one thing in this game that I have wanted to talk about for a while. Well, it's not the biggest thing I want to talk about, because trust me, there's something really big that I want to talk about, but that's coming later. What I want to talk about is a psychic power that was cut from the game. And it's called Brainstorm. And there's actually a badge for this. I'm gonna show it on screen right now. I really love the design for the badge on this. I don't know why. I don't know why I like the turquoise with the yellow. It's so cool. Like, I can actually see this on, like, Raz's satchel. Like, it looks like it would fit so well. And it kind of matches his clothes, too. It's just, like, a perfect fit. But, everyone knows that a psychic power isn't all about the badge. It's about what it can do. So, what did brainstorming do? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but it appeared to have two different functions. It was apparently used for being able to share ideas between people, however that would work. Like, I don't know, like maybe putting an idea into someone's head, or maybe getting an idea from somebody, I guess. I don't know. And apparently it was also able to electrocute enemies. It is called a brainstorm after all, so I would assume, you know, storm would have some sort of lightning or electricity to deal with it. And on top of that, there is electricity, or I guess a lightning bolt on the badge, so I mean, who knows? But here's the thing. Brainstorm was supposed to be a psychic power given to you by Compton Boole, of all people. Yeah, Compton. He was the one that was supposed to give you this. And believe it or not, there's a whole string of dialogue between Raz and Compton that you can find. And I'm gonna play it for you right now.
3 ingredients? It's too much.
Compton, these clouds look ominous.
What do you expect? I get brainstorms when I'm overwhelmed.
All right, got the first ingredient. Now...
Hey, you ruined my hiding spot.
Well, it's a pretty bad idea to hide as something that might get boiled.
There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. And it's not like you can control what comes out.
What?
Can't you brainstorm? Cassie said it was my superpower. I just get overwhelmed by all the possibilities sometimes.
If you could control this, you can make all the ingredients you need.
You think it's easy, young man? I invite you to give it a whirl. Remember, you can't control it. Whatever happens, you just have to roll with it.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. After initially hearing this conversation between Raz and Compton, my initial first thought with Compton saying that you can't control what happens, like, I don't know why this was the initial idea that popped into my head, but it made me think of the Rhino, of the newest Rhino from the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game, where when you would fire it, something random would fall out of the sky through a portal. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped into my head when I heard them talking about something random happening. I was just like, oh, so Raz can just like conjure in whatever the hell he wants, and it just kind of drops in from the sky, just falls right on in, and I can just imagine all the references that they could make, that Double Fine could make to their other properties, their other games. And, you know, maybe if they got permission from other, like, other universes as well, like, maybe, from Naughty Dog and, Insomniac and stuff like that. Maybe, if they got permission, you know. That's just what I was thinking at first, but then, of course, I had to go and find out that that's apparently probably not the case. I mean, I wouldn't know because, you know, it's cut content, so how the hell are we supposed to know what it's going to do? And I kinda wish I knew what it was going to do, but I don't, because it's not here, because it's cut, and I wish it wasn't! So many good ideas, and they're just got scrapped. And I guess I can kinda see how it would get scrapped, but like, knowing what I do now about how Brainstorm would allow Raz to possibly be able to create like a cloud that would like shock enemies, I can imagine that it would like probably just float around the area, and if anything came underneath it, it would electrocute it. And I feel like because Compton specifically calls out that it's random and that you'll never know what it does, what it's going to do, I feel like it may have been like one of those double-edged sword kind of moves, where if it came over Raz, it would also electrocute him, which would give plenty of use to Rasputin's electrocution phase, which we don't actually get to see that much. I think we only get to see it in like the beginning of the game. No, we also see it in Hollis's mind too, which is kind of in the beginning of the game as well, so I mean, I think that's about it. I don't know many places that Raz gets electrocuted. Like, honestly, I think it's just in Lobato and Hollis's mind. I can't really think of any other places that he got electrocuted in. Yeah, I think that's about it, actually. So, it would give plenty of reason for them to reuse that asset and stuff like that, which, you know, that would be kind of cool. But I mean, it's also kinda, I can see why that would be a problem. It's like, why would you create a system that could potentially kill the player? Like, I can see why that would be cut, if that's even the case. Again, don't know. But, you know, that's just my theory, is that that might be the reason why they cut it, but they could also just make it so he doesn't do that, but then again, I guess that would be weird with them being like, oh, if anything passes underneath it, they get electrocuted, then it passes over you and you don't get electrocuted. And then it's like, oh, I guess it's just friendly to me. Well, okay, whatever. So, I don't know. I don't know. But I've got to say, I am probably mostly disappointed that it's not here because of the sweet badge. But, badge aside, there is one more thing for Brainstorm that, we know about, and that's the fact that it did. Well, I mean, yeah, I just said that it did. But that because we know that it electrocuted enemies, there's actually some models of the enemies getting electrocuted by Brainstorm. I don't know if it's all of them, but they have animations where they're getting shocked, and I think it would last like maybe 10, maybe 15 seconds. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe 30 seconds, I think is what it said. About 30 seconds, which is a pretty generous time for something to be shocked. And then there's also a wear-off animation where the enemies would, of course, shake off the electrocution. I think the entire process in total would be about 30 minutes. Yeah, hell no. About 30 seconds. And honestly, again, that's pretty generous, especially in a game like Psychonauts. Like, can you imagine something like that in the first game? Dude, that would be so broken in the first game. Like, you just walk out there and all of a sudden, you could just pop an electrical storm that would just freeze enemies for like 30 seconds. Dude, in the first game, that would be so fucking broken. But of course, here in the second game, things are a lot easier. Well, I think things are a lot easier in the second game than they are in the first one. And honestly, I can kind of see why they took it out again. And I think it would kind of be because I think they knew it would make the game too easy. And I think even if they toned down like the timer, like maybe if they made it like 10 seconds or something like that, I think it would still kind of be super broken. Like, you could just spam it and, you know, you could just freeze enemies. I think the only counterbalance to that would be like to extend how long it charges. But I think at that point, you would have to make it like a long charge, and that would just be too much where players wouldn't use it at all. So I guess I can kind of see like the reasons why they would take it out, like, overall. Still kind of sad that we don't get that super sweet badge. And yes, I'm still butthurt over the fact that that they created this beautiful badge and Raz doesn't get it. Such disappointment. So let's have a chat about some cut dialogue. Compton already had some cut dialogue with the whole brainstorm thing. Still kind of butthurt about not getting that sweet badge though. But there is some more cut dialogue from the game, and one of them I think you'll find incredibly interesting. So, Rasputin's new outfit. I promise, this is going somewhere that involves cut dialogue, I promise. So, believe it or not, when Sasha would give Raz his new clothes, Sasha was supposed to make a very interesting comment about how he noticed that he and Raz are now dressed similarly. But the thing is, Raz would also reply by obviously thanking Sasha for the outfit. It's not a whole lot, but the fact that they cut this small little going so-and-so conversation between Raz and Sasha is kind of odd. Here, I'll play it for you.
You know, I never noticed how similar our dressing styles were until now.
Yeah, well, thanks for the outfit, Agent 9.
Aside from Raz and Sasha having a small, very small conversation that is not in the game, how about entire characters no longer being in the game? That I cannot show you what they look like because I don't know if a model of them exists, and if it does, I wish I knew it existed and I wish I could see it. But apparently, the questionable area was supposed to have some tourists hanging around. I'm not entirely sure what they were supposed to be able to do or what they would be doing, but I mean, they exist. On top of that, they would have their own set of dialogue that Raz could initiate by talking to them.
Oh, hello. My husband Stefan and I have traveled here to explore this famous, questionable area. The psychic energy fields and power vortexes here are famed for their therapeutic benefits.
Please excuse me. I'm trying to tune out the physical plane of existence right now.
I think I see something over there. Did you see that object move on its own, Stefan? Oh, I feel strange. Stefan, do I look strange? Was I imagining it? Or I just felt a presence push me this way? Oh, my heart rate just went up when I stepped here. Ooh, the rumors are true. Stefan, get over here right now. Oh, Stefan. Ooh, I just walked through something. In a minute, my dear. I'm feeling something. Oh, the hairs on my neck just did something. I think I feel something nearby. Oh, I think this is it. Over here? Maybe over here. Aha. Yes. Maybe. Perhaps. Ugh, the feelings left me. Oh, I definitely felt something there. No. Maybe over here. Shoot. Nothing after all. I swear, I felt something. Oh, well, that was definitely something. This is it. Definitely something going on in this spot. Stefan, over here. This is it. Stefan, this is incredible. The energy.
Huh? I think I thought I felt something there for a moment. That spot looks promising. Eh? No, not right now, but if at first you don't succeed, Wow, they were not lying about this place. Connie, look over here, quickly. Huh? Definitely felt something powerful there, but it has passed. Alas. I hope you're doing better than me, Cornelia. Don't give up, my precious. Onward!
I think I smell, ozone. Burning? Oh, thank you. I always forget to take pictures on a trip. Using gadgets, huh? Oh, Stefan and I have always preferred to do it au naturel. Don't we, Stefan?
Oh, we came all this way, and I don't think we'll ever find what we're looking for.
You get out of here. You're corrupting the energy fields.
I feel something, but I don't like it. Ooh, will you get one of Cornelia and I together later? You'll never train your mind using a crutch like that.
Connie, what are we doing here? Why did we come here? We can't run from our problems.
You, get away from my wife, now!
But now the time has come for who I think probably wins the role of the most interesting character that was cut from this game. And that was actually one of the archetypes of Cassiopeia. Yeah, she was supposed to have another archetype. And it was supposed to be a hippie? Yeah, hippie Cassie was supposed to be a thing. How interesting. Apparently she was supposed to have her own separate little area, her own little world that Raz would be able to enter. Probably, and more than likely, via one of the books. This place, I wish I could know what it was like, but apparently it was a cabin of sorts. Well, I mean, it was like a grassy field that had a cabin, and some sort of dark area that shrouded the memories that she had of the Battle of Grulovia, her memories with Lucy and all the others. Hippie Cassie was, well, she wasn't a replacement for the librarian because the librarian was still a thing. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure there's some dialogue between Raz and the librarian talking about Hippie Cassie. But the thing is that apparently Hippie Cassie was supposed to be more of the defensive mechanism that tried to prevent the memories of Maligula from escaping throughout Cassie's mind, as the Shrouded Darkness was intended to be the place where Raz would actually meet the version of Lucretia that you find on the top balcony above the librarian's hall. Apparently. It's just interesting to me that that was their original intention. And the fact that we just don't get to see it at all, it's kind of sad. Raz had a lot of dialogue with Hippie Cassie, and of course some of the other Cassies as well, referring to everything that was going on in this place. I think it would have been way better if they kept this in, but sadly, alas, it was not. I really wish it was, though, because everything that gets said here, I feel like it would have added so much more if we saw it from this perspective of a Cassie that just tried to go with the flow, man, and try to relax. Just chill, bro. Don't think about the past all the time. Just let it all go and ignore it, man. Kind of vibe, you know?
Hello, and welcome!
Cassie, listen, we gotta get out of here.
What? Leave the colony? This idyllic, peaceful gathering place of the most brilliant minds of our era? This is the happiest place I know. These people are my family. Why would I ever leave?
The librarian has taken over. She wants to lock you all up.
Oh, her? Well, yes. She can be a little overbearing, but, you know, I do feel a little safer when she's in charge. Well, before her, we've made some mistakes. But I'm happy now, here in this perfect place.
Cassie, what's up with that dark business over there?
Oh, I don't even like to look in that direction. Too much beauty for me to enjoy right here.
Yeah, but psst. Can I have a word with you? Huh?
Over here.
Oh.
Listen, I don't think this one is going to come peacefully.
She seems peaceful.
That dark spot, whatever it is, I have a feeling that's the key to getting her out of here. She needs to see it for what it really is. We have to show her.
But what is it?
Oh, can't tell from here. It's all about perspective. If we could get a better view of it...
Okay, I'll try to get to higher ground.
Good idea.
Would you mind if I explored this beautiful place a little?
Please, stay forever. You know I will.
Hi, Otto. Do you know anything about that weird dark shape over there? Ford, do you know what that weird dark shape is over there? Yep. Listen, any idea what that dark thing is over there?
Aha! What is it?
No idea. But I can see it a little bit better now. And I don't like it.
Let's try to see it from another perspective. Is it clear now?
No. If anything, it's more confusing.
Well, multiple perspectives can sometimes make things muddy.
What? But you told me to...
I know. Keep getting new perspectives. I'm sure it will work out eventually. No. This thing's not supposed to be here.
Lucretia's house? Why?
It makes me think of that horrible day. That final conflict with our old friend. So much pain. So much suffering. I was the first line of attack. If I had succeeded, they would all be alive. We'd all be together. I was supposed to be such a persuasive, motivational speaker. But the only person I fooled this time was myself.
Cassie, it's not your fault. Maligula defeated everybody that day, except for Ford.
I've been many things in my life, but this is the first time I was a failure. Right when Ford needed me the most.
The truth is, Ford needs you again.
Really?
Yes, he needs all of you.
What the heck? This place is ruined anyway. That a girl. Ew. I should have been able to find this one by smell. Patchouli oil. Well, maybe it will keep away the bookworms.
And now, for the big kahuna. The biggest thing for me that is cut content from this game that I have been wanting to talk about for so freaking long. And it's merely dialogue. But the idea of it changes so much. Maligula has cut dialogue. And at first, by listening to it, it doesn't seem like it's a whole lot that, would add to anything. As you'll hear right here.
I murdered all your minions, and you're next. I am a murderer. I was mentored by Ford Cruller himself. I'm locking you up. I'm the greatest Psychonaut to ever live.
Sounds like the typical stuff that Maligula would say. Nothing too out of the ordinary out of all this. But here's the thing. Maligula isn't the only one who says these exact words. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them are shared with another character. Rasputin says these exact words too.
I am a murderer! I murdered all your minions and you're next! I was mentored by Ford Cruller himself! I'm locking you up! I'm the greatest Psychonaut who ever lived! I drowned my sister! I drowned your chances of winning! I'm taking you down!
The fact that we hear Raz say things like, I'm a murderer, I murdered my sister, and stuff like that. What does that imply? If I had the opportunity to ask Tim Schafer one question. This would be the one thing I would ask him. What was this originally for? What does this mean? Why does Raz say the same exact things that Maligula does? Why? What's the purpose of this dialogue? That's the questions I would love to ask. And the reasons why is because of a couple theories that fans of the games have had. And both of them are pretty damn good. So, and one of them is my personal favorites, but one of them was the idea that Maligula's brain was supposed to be placed inside of Raz's body. And the reason why this is something that people thought of was because of the VR game, Rhombus of Ruin. Now, Crystal Malik hired Lobato. We all know that. But here's the thing. In Rhombus of Ruin, Lobato is already been hired by Crystal, because Crystal hired him to remove Truman's brain. Truman was in the Rhombus of Ruin, Lobato was there, blah blah blah, that's the story. But here's the thing. Lobato says something very interesting. He mentions that Crystal, who we don't know as Crystal Malik at the time, but Crystal wants Raz's brain. Why? Why does he want Raz's brain? What is the purpose of this? Why does he want this? What's the purpose? Well, maybe the purpose might be because he wants Raz's body to be a hollow shell, so that way he can place another brain inside. Because, you know, it's been a long-ass time since, you know, the Deluge of Grulovia. Lucretia is old AF. She's not the warrior that she used to be. So what if the idea was to take Raz's body and use it as the Trojan horse that would be the new Maligula? That's a dangerous and scary thought. Like, can you imagine the idea of Raz's body becoming Maligula? Like, that's kind of freaky, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of freaky. But there are a couple other theories. But one of my personal favorites, my absolute personal favorite theory, would be that Raz would have had to have learned hydrokinesis himself to fight Maligula. But the only way he could do that was if he faced his own fear. Because one of the things that we know for a fact in Psychonauts 2 is, because we see it happen, is that even though Ford tells Raz that there is no curse, the hand of Galokiel still attacks Raz. It isn't until after Maligula is defeated that Raz's relationship with this, you know, this asphyxiation is more positive. But here's the thing. What if that was meant, what if, like, not meant, but what if it was supposed to be that way? Where Raz was still having a negative, like, view of water because, you know, his whole life he's been told that if he goes near the water, he's going to die. Because that's what the curse said. The curse said that any Aquato that goes to the water is going to die. That's just what the curse was. And when you've lived one way your whole life, it's kind of hard to not live that way at all. So, what if Raz had to do what he did in the first game? Go into his own psyche and challenge that, I guess, inner demon of how he was afraid of water, so that way he could master hydrokinesis. But instead of just being like, you know, some sort of monster or something, it was, I don't know if it would be like himself, or just an apparition of Maligula, in which we'd have to fight it. And that version, technically, I guess, of himself would be saying the things that Maligula would say. I murdered all of your minions. I killed my sister. I am a murderer. All of these things that Raz would imagine that Maligula would say, he hears Maligula say, but not just through herself, but also through his self. Or he would have to face this terrifying version of himself that he was generally afraid of becoming himself, because another thing you have to realize is that Rasputin, well, he's now aware that he's related to Maligula. And sure, yeah, Maligula was created because of Ford's experiments and because of the War of Grulovia and all that, but you gotta look at that from the view of a child. I mean, Raz is far from your average, ordinary 10-year-old, but he's still a little kid. And when you're a little kid, your mind tends to exaggerate things that don't really need to be exaggerated. I think one of the best ways to describe that, actually very hilariously, is from the Five Nights at Freddy's series, in which Scott Cawthon himself said, what is seen in shadows can be viewed incorrectly through the eyes of a child. A kid will see something that you see as harmless as a monster in the dark because they don't know any different. And again, Raz is not your typical 10-year-old, but still a kid. So can you imagine the idea of realizing that you're related to a murderer? Like, the first thing that would probably rush through your head would be like, oh god, what if I'm like them? What if I'm exactly like them on the inside? Like, that's what my mind jumps to when I think of this stuff. And that's why I assume that it would be like an apparition of him, of his own self, of Rasputin's own self, that he would have to face in his mind to overcome his fear of water, to overcome all of these trials so that way he could learn hydrokinesis to be able to fight Maligula. That's what I think. And that's a theory that I've heard, and I absolutely love it. I think it would have added so much more to the game. And the reason, and well, I mean, not just a reason, but it is a solid reason to why I would hope that all of this is true. Again, if there was one thing I could ask Tim Schafer, it would be about these dialogue lines. But all of this, if it was true anyways, would add so much to that last line that Raz says to Maligula, because it would add so much extra power. If Raz runs over to help Nona, and Maligula, you know, is down there screaming, "You can't get rid of me, I'm a part of her!" And Raz tells her, "Big deal, everyone's got something like you. We just know where to keep it put. We just know how to keep it where it belongs." That would have so much more power. If Raz had to face his own darkness, his own inner darkness, and have to keep that where it belongs, and unlock the abilities to fight Maligula, to truly be able to battle her on even grounds, that would add so much to the story. It would make so much more sense. It would build so much more character between Rasputin and his great aunt, also aka his grandmother, not grandmother, but you know what I mean. Like, wouldn't that be so cool? Am I the only one who thinks this? I can't be the only one who thinks this. Like, this would be amazing. But the fact that it's not in the game and that it's all just speculation, just based off of these dialogue lines alone, it really, really makes me want to know, what was the true purpose behind these dialogue lines? Am I close? Am I way off? Like, I want to know, but I can't. Because it's not like Tim would actually pay attention to me, because I'm just a nobody who makes YouTube videos on YouTube. And then, you know, uploads them. Occasionally. I've been getting better. I'm doing my best. This game, man. There's so much that I wish was here, but it's not. And I know it's probably mostly because of budget cuts, and of course, time budgets. Time budgets? You know what I mean. Time and lack of money. And even though, you know, Microsoft gave Double Fine the edge that they needed, you know, there's still a lot that wasn't added. And I just kinda wish that it was. So, yeah. That's really all I want to talk about for cut content. Is that all the cut content? Definitely not. I didn't even talk about the idea that Mental Connection was supposed to look entirely different than it actually does. Show image here of how it looks like a fucking little baby UFO. But like, that is so much more that was cut, and honestly, the reason why I'm not talking about it is because I urge all of you to go and look for it yourselves, because just me discovering it, the hype that I got from it, it was like an adrenaline rush, and every time I found something new, I was just like, oh my god, I have to learn about this. What is this? Why is this here? What was this for? It was so amazing for me to feel just to feel that. It felt so good seeing all this stuff that was supposed to be in the game and then feel sad over it not being in the game. So again, I urge you to look. And to aid in your search, I want to make some notes here from the people that did the research, because all I did was just scour the internet and find the sources. I don't really know how to code or how to hack or any of that stuff, so I don't know how to do any of that high-tech programming stuff. How to look through code and know what to look for and what's safe to click on and what's safe to not, because I don't want to accidentally delete something and then ruin my game for all of eternity. I don't want to do that. So, like, I don't know. So, here are some of the people that, if I can remember all of them, that I gathered this information from. Go check them out. Go give them the attention that they need. Go give them all of the proper, likes and shares and follows and stuff that they all deserve. Because they deserve it more than I do. They're the ones that actually managed to dig through the files and find this shit. Like, they're the most amazing people in the world. And I salute them heavily for all the work that they've done.